Welcome back to the podcast. You, of course, are now listening to Welcome to Beacon Hills, a Southgate Movie podcast dedicated to all things Teen Wolf over on MTV. I am one of your co-captains, Lilith, and joining me is
Dawn. How are you guys doing?
Up for discussion today is episode 518, Maid of Gevudan, and that's pretty much all I can say right now. I'm kind of in shock.
Okay.
There's things that I liked about it, but the things that I didn't like about it totally overshadow the things that I liked about it.
Well, let's just say that the flashback where Derek's high school girlfriend died sucked. That episode sucked out loud. The flashback episode where Mama Fox's non-high school army guy boyfriend died sucked. This one followed right in the same tradition. Except it was a brother who died, not a lover.
They had to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So Jeff wrote this episode as well. I was a little shocked about that after the last episode.
Oh, Jeff, buddy.
And now we understand why he's leaving for season 6 and just staying on as a showrunner. He can't keep consistency. He realizes that with himself, and he's just kind of burnt out, and I get it.
Well, he has been telling the same story for 5 years, so.
Yeah, but he also worked on Criminal Minds for like how many years? And that is wash, rinse, repeat as it gets. It's a procedural.
I will say that the last episode that he wrote was one of my favorites. And, well, I just am personally, this is my personal theory, that no flashback episode in Teen Wolf is ever going to be anything but exposition.
Well, yeah.
And nobody can write an exposition episode that is interesting to me.
Well, I'm sorry, but the Vampire Diaries back in like seasons 1 through 3, when we had the history, that was like the highlight of the season for most TVD fans. And, you know, why the originals got so popular and things like that. So it can be done. I just don't think that it fits with Teen Wolf anymore, because the stories that we want to hear, he doesn't tell them. And the stories we don't care about, he tells them. That's the problem with the expositions. Exposition nobody cares about.
Well, the problem is that there's no action. It's all exposition. And it's like, really? Really? Oh, hey! There's that smoky guy. Okay, fine. Oh, wait a minute. Now we're back to Gerard. First off, having Gerard narrate anything is an automatic, 2 grades down.
Poor Gerard.
Oh. Shut up. You love the sound of your own voice. Just stop.
I do want to say I did enjoy the technical aspects of the cinematography and the sound mixing. I thought that Joseph P. Jenner did a good job with the technical aspects, but there's only so much you can do with a script like this.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Anyway, let's get into some highlights.
Okay, let's do that. You don't want a summary?
Synopsis, yeah.
Okay.
Sucky exposition. The end. No, kidding. Let's see. What did Teen Wolf say about this episode? Hoping to align with the familiar ally, the Ardents reveal a key clue to the mystery of the Beast of Gevudan. Meanwhile, Scott tries to take on the Beast himself. Anyway, what really happened? Parrish leaves, believing himself to be too dangerous. Chris and Gerard tell Lydia the story of Marie-Jean Vallée, the first werewolf hunter and the woman who killed the first beast of Gevudan. With the help of her allies, including a man named Henry Argent, she hunted down and killed the beast, which was revealed to be her brother Sebastian. Dun, dun, dun! Like we didn't see that coming. Marie-Jean married Henry and took his surname. They went on to start the Argent family of hunters. Gerard suggests that Lydia might be able to kill the beast, but she insists that they need Parrish and leaves to find him. And that's when I wanted to smack the hell out of Lydia. Meanwhile, Scott takes on the Beast at school while Styles and Hayden, for some random reason, save and heal Liam. Scott fights the Beast in the school library after transforming in front of numerous students and losing until Liam, Malia, and Brayden come to help him. The four of them manage to drive the Beast out of the school, and Scott follows the scent to a car where they find a pair of planted bloody sneakers. Mason shows up and reveals that it's his car, and Scott and Liam realize that Mason is the Beast's human form. But before any of them can do anything, Corey appears and abducts Mason. And then we fade to glorious black.
Okay, when the fading to black is glorious, you know the episode had issues.
Best part about the episode, end credits. Worst part about the episode, opening credits.
Gerard. It's always Gerard. There is no other answer.
Oh, so let's move to the highlights.
All right. The number one thing that this episode did is that it finally got the town of Sunnydale to realize that Buffy is a vampire slayer. Really, that's what this whole episode is to me. It's Buffy. Again. I do like...
graduation, right?
Yep, pretty much. He's going to get the umbrella.
Oh, if Scott doesn't get the umbrella, I don't know who deserves... Well, the whole team needs it, actually.
But anyway, yeah. I do think that as long as they don't screw this up, the idea that the entire town of Beacon Hills basically has seen a gigantic werewolf monster and knows that Scott and Malia and Liam, and probably think Brayden, are supernatural creatures as well. That needs to play out next episode. If it doesn't play out next episode, this entire episode was a waste of my time.
All the exposition stories pretty much a waste of our time, though?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
I'm just checking.
Oh, absolutely.
I totally love the cold open. I'm like, the 7 Years' War? All right. Canada! Yeah!
Isn't this the French and Indian War?
No, it was the 7 Years' War. Because that's the one between 1754 and 1763.
Okay.
Right? The French and Indian War is a little after that, right?
I don't know. I thought it was the French and Indian War, but I can look it up. 1754 to 1763, French and Indian War.
Okay. I don't know which one it was then.
Actually, it's both of them because it's also called the 7 Years' War.
Oh, okay.
So we're talking about the same thing. Good for us.
Same difference, half a dozen of the other. Okay. So yeah. I find that really interesting that they chose that we were in North America. And I was just like, oh, so this is like Vampire Diaries, where the werewolves were originally here already when people settled. Okay. No, but I did like that for some reason, because I don't know, I thought we were going to spend the whole time in France, and I'm just really happy that at least one part of the flashback wasn't ruined by terrible accents.
And that really is the second worst thing about this episode. All right. So, let's see, what else did I like? Love the library fight. It's the only action in this. Well, it's not the only action. It's the majority of the action of this episode, with the exception of Marie-Jean. And I thought it was pretty awesome. They destroyed the library again.
Poor library. Dawn, you're going to have a talk with them about always destroying the library.
I'm telling you, milk crates and plywood. That's what you're getting next. No school on the planet could afford the insurance, for this freaking library. Not to mention the rest of the school.
It's why they don't have a media center in their library. Things like this have happened before.
But I did like that fight. I thought that technically it worked well for me. I wasn't a big fan of Liam coming in and punching the beast on the snout, but, since it wasn't him who actually saved the day, that was Brayden, I'm okay with it. Because Brayden, she rocks.
Oh, God. Sorry. I can't get this music out of my ear from this ad thing. 1 second, sorry.
Okay.
No, get out of here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, can you mute it? Mute! Ad from hell, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so I love that they actually showed Scott saving people, helping people. It's like his middle name should have been Winchester.
And he has just a sucky luck, so probably. You sure his middle name isn't Sam Winchester?
His girlfriends don't. Well, yeah. His love life died. There we go. His middle name's Samuel.
And then his second one is working her way to death at this point, so.
Or being out of control and having some form of bloodlust, maybe?
Yep. So, we can call the first one Jessica and the second one Ruby. Yeah. All right. What else did I like about this episode? I actually liked Malia looking for Styles. I think that's smart. I think that, well, quite frankly, I think that Styles might be kidnapped at this point. Because we never see him again, which is another downward spiral in this episode, but I did like how she just randomly picks somebody out of the crowd. He's like, what the heck? I don't even know what you're talking about. It's like, does everybody in the entire high school know Styles? Probably not. So, Of course, there's only like 30 people left in the high school, so I guess they do. But, yeah. So I like that. I was like, okay, Malia, you try and get that info. But most importantly, what I liked about that is Malia's the first smart person. She calls Brayden.
Yes.
Bring all the shotguns.
Exactly. I too enjoyed that bit of banter between the two. Let's see. I like that Parrish decided to leave. That we didn't have to put up with him for too long. Like they know.
I think he's coming back.
I know he's coming back, but I heard a certain person is not going to be signing on for a full term for season 6.
Really?
Now, there's, of course, a petition going around, but we know how things go. But yeah, so, like, there's some... I mean, if you don't like Parrish... I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Ryan. He's a doll. Mm-hmm. I love him live tweeting. But the character of Parrish is A, overpowered, B, useless, C, taking screen time from my golden trio.
Mm-hmm. And, more importantly, dragging Lydia off into subplots again. What the heck? She just joined the team back again. Can we please keep her with the team for, I don't know, maybe 2 episodes in a row?
Wouldn't you be worried? I mean, we should be worried that the Argents are, like, conspiring. Like, she's been with them for 2 episodes in a row now. I don't like it. Only because Gerard's around.
Right.
If it was just Chris, I would be okay with it. I really would.
Oh, I don't know. Well, this one, I put this on my like list just because it made me laugh. It wasn't supposed to make me laugh, but it totally made me laugh. And that was Parrish resigning, and all these cops are just doing random paperwork in the background. I'm thinking, what the heck? Has no one from the school called you about the gigantic supernatural animal eating people? It was like, oh, Beacon Hills. You're just, there's just no hope for you. It made me laugh.
Let's see. I like how he totally ruled Sydney out in one fell swoop. That was kind of funny.
Yep.
Like, haha, you thought we were going to go there, didn't you? Nope.
I like both Scott and Liam's reaction to Mason coming and saying it was his car. I thought that was very spot on. Good acting from both.
I just wanted Liam to be like, ruh-roh, Shaggy.
That wouldn't have surprised me. Actually, I'm just waiting for Gerard to say, I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for these meddling kids.
Right? I've been waiting 5.5 seasons for that.
Oh, he just totally has to. That's all there is to it. He just has to.
Let's see. I actually like the slow motion in the flashbacks. For once, it actually worked.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with that, but I did have fun making fun of that in the recap.
The grid sweeping cape, that was great. That was great hero shots, man.
Classic. It's getting an episode award.
Oh, God. I only have like 2 episode awards for this.
Oh, it's getting on. Oh, yeah. I love the idea that Gerard and Argent have said that Lydia may be the key to stopping Labette. I really, 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 really need her to be the savior of this episode. Or not this episode. Nobody can save this episode. I need her to be the savior of this season.
I liked how they forged the spear, because it reminded me of, like a Styles comment.
It was definitely interesting.
Lots
I have an episode award about that too
as well, but
I actually thought that while it was no surprise that the brother was Labette, I like that they didn't try to redeem him at all.
He was all male Argents.
He was just evil. And it made me question a lot of things. And so I guess I spent part of the flashback drowning out, Gerard's voice by thinking about the things that I didn't understand, didn't make sense, or wanted to know more information about. There was a lot. And one of them was the idea that when her brother comes in, the very first thing he does is he champions sending his sister out in the woods to find Labette. Was he trying to kill his sister? I mean, I think he is. Because he's there and he's looking at her and he's going toward her. Yeah, it's like a total Theo moment. I'm like, oh, man. Was this guy evil beforehand and nobody understood and, nobody got it? Probably. Or did he become evil because he was the Beast?
I think he went off to fight a war, for ducats. So seems like he was a mercenary, but I took it as he was gonna eventually reveal himself to his sister, and he didn't think that she would have the heart to kill him. That's how I took it.
All right. See, I got it when he was going after her, and she's being saved by the mountain ash, whatever. Then, yeah, I was like, wow, he is really trying to kill his sister. What's up with this season? And
does Jeff have a sister?
Side. I hope not.
It's like Eric Kripke and daddy issues at this point now. I thought that they did the Beast looked better than what he had previously. This is where they blew their load for the whole season, and I can see it at least.
I don't know. I just think there was better lighting.
That always helps. Well, sometimes.
Oh.
And Team Whoop, it always helps.
Sometimes. I don't know. One of my favorite things, and call me a Styles girl if you want. I'm fine with that. One of my favorite things is the only humor we get in the entire episode is Styles about to faint from looking at Leo. I was laughing the whole time. I'm like,
that's another meta moment if you guys haven't caught on to that.
And I also like that Hayden brought him back and kind of refocused him in a way that reminded me of Derek. So Hayden was slightly better until the very next second. So
I like that I'm not showing Momori actually is important to the story, and we see that how they did it. But man, can I just say that Jeff Davis ain't so good at the math? I mean, now I'm really starting to. Now it's all clicking together where our timeline's so screwy. Just, I mean, it's. I don't know, man. It just bothered me. It's like, okay, yes, more than 150 years, but it's closer to. So you could almost said almost 200. Like I'm just saying. It's just weird choices like that. Just a little nitpick. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That works for me. I didn't even notice it. I'm like, yeah, well, okay.
I always try to put the timeline together, and it just falls to Hades, man.
Over and over again. I think that's why I just don't even recognize it anymore. It was like, well, what? 3 episodes and we're at a full moon again? Okay. Beacon Hills is the only one that has a full moon every week.
They have a super moon every week.
Okay, whatever. That works. Did I like anything else? I really don't think that I did.
I like Lydia basically calling Gerard out. She's like, why are you suddenly on our side? And I'm like, hallelujah. Somebody asked the question I've been asking all the time.
That was great. You're right.
That was amazing. And there's nothing like Parrish leaving his gun and his badge on the sheriff's desk. I'm just like, I know you'll be back, but I'm just going to savor this.
I still like the cops in the background better.
Terrible. Just terrible.
I'm sorry, but it was like, I'm like, okay, sheriff is at the school. He hasn't called you? What?
Take a hint, buddy. You're a danger to society.
But he didn't call any of the other deputies either. I just don't understand.
He's Papa Sheriff. He's trying to save the little few deputies that he has because they ain't sending him no more after this. You're like, you're on your own, buddy. This is a war zone. FEMA's coming in.
At this point, the National Guard should have already taken over the town. I'm sorry. It doesn't even matter.
Cameras. Those were some undedicated reporters right there.
Oh my goodness. It was just like all of it. I just like, oh, I don't even know. Whatever. Can you make this episode stop? That's basically how I felt. I did think that Marie's little Wolfsbane alcohol thing was clever. Like, okay.
Have you seen that before?
I don't know. Lydia spiked the punch with Wolfsbane at her party.
For fun, though.
For Peter, that's even worse. Oh, yeah. And I like that they didn't drag off the whole Marcel being Labette. Pretty much, we went to commercial break, came back. You're not him. Okay, moving on.
Yeah. They only had so much time.
Yeah, because Gerard wouldn't shut up. Seriously.
Okay, is there anything else that can't wait for episode awards?
No.
Okay, let's get into the lowlights.
All right. Let's start with Wonky Cannon. Okay. So what used to be just, spewing out different werewolf theories that all sounded crazier than the other is now apparently true. So you become a demon wolf. Let's not forget that that's also what Deucalion calls himself.
I think that's just there because it was like the 1700s and superstition.
I hope so. Because if we're really trying to tell me that the way that this man became a super beast, like the most feared killer in French history, a French history that also includes revolution, by the way, because he drank rainwater out of a paw print when he fell down face first.
Under the moon, under a full moon now.
Oh,
because it's magic. Lunar cycles are magic, Dawn.
Oh my goodness. I don't think my eyes could roll harder than it rolled at that point. I'm like, this better be just some 17th century nonsense because he doesn't know what's going on in his and how he actually became a beast.
No, I really do think that is, and that it was another Lebet in North America, and that obviously when you see the footprint, it's bigger than what a normal like wolf that is also a werewolf would be, and I think that that's what they were trying to get across.
Well, what they got across is we have some cheesy junky little cannon going here, and we need to fix it now.
Welcome to Beacon Hills.
No, this is beyond Wolfsbane, Mountain Ash combined wonky werewolf power mess. This is just stupid.
Okay, something that I really didn't like after Gerard was done telling the story in full detail, I wanted Chris to be like, I send my regards, and just slit his throat. And it didn't happen.
Now, that would be the patricide I want to see.
Like, let's just get some straight up Greek tragedy up in here.
Well, I want to know why anybody's trusting what he's saying anyway, because we already know he's an unreliable narrator.
But he is a narcissist as well.
Yes, he is. So he could be making all this junk up to make his family sound more important than they really were. And seriously, how is it that he is the only one in the Argent family who knows this information?
Because he's a bastard. He keeps all the good stuff for himself.
How is that the good stuff? You would think because he is a narcissist and he is so proud of his family, he'd be shouting from the rooftop to all the Argents and they'd be like, Dad, you've told this story 9,000 times. We know it. But no, instead, it's an excuse to bring the worst character in Teen Wolf back again.
It's because Gerard's secretly a dread doctor.
He could be. As long as he's dead by the end, I don't care. And by the end, I don't mean the end of the season, or this series. I mean the end of this season. Like, preferably the end of next episode. Which brings me to the number one terrible thing about this episode, besides the stupid canon. It makes Gerard the most important person in the episode because he's telling us the long-winded story again. Please stop.
It's his jam, Dawn.
Ugh. He is a terrible storyteller. I'm bored halfway through. I mean, seriously, I was with Parrish. I was like, yeah, resurrect her. Let's leave. I don't want to hear this. And I was looking forward to Crystal Reed coming back.
Yeah, I actually was too. I don't even know. I really hate that it's supposedly Mason. And I mean, if you watch the sneak peek, then you know that it's Mason.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I was iffy on it. I gave it the benefit of the doubt. I was like, I called it the biggest red herring in my and put question marks after it because it was like he may be, he may not be.
They want Liam to be the new Scott so bad that they're making his best friend this big freaking supernatural deal that's supposed to be all sympathetic. Like, I just can't.
And you know what? The very worst thing about that is Mason's not gonna die. And then I'm going to want to kill him.
See, but this is it. It's been there from the start, kind of, sort of. Like, I can see, like, it didn't come out of the blue. This is like classic Teen Wolf twisty crap. But they've been like really showing his flaws, as it were. Sort of, kind of. Like, he hasn't been as sticky sweet as he was initially, and all these things. But I still think it's a terrible idea.
I don't care if they make him the Hellhound or whatever, not Hellhound, but the Beast or not. I care that they have told me. I mean, the only thing that I have heard more in this part of the season than the freaking title is once the Lebet remembers who he is, the teenager will be gone. So, one, why the heck is Scott saying, ooh, you're him? Because, you know, nothing makes somebody remember their past more than when you tell it to them. Okay? And two, it's good. That is the whole synopsis. That's a whole thing. That the teenager's going to disappear. So, what's going to happen? Nada. So I was listening to this for 19 billion times for zero reason.
Well, Scott secretly wants Mason to go away, so.
Well, I so secretly do not want. I mean, I don't secretly want him to go away. I just want him to go away, and I have no problem telling people that.
Trying to be slick, like, yeah, we can get rid of one damn sophomore. Yay!
So really, Scott is the monster, is what you're saying. Now that would be a big twist.
Monstrous. I always remember monstrous.
How could we forget? They said that one 600 times too. Teen Wolf in its titles.
Yeah, man. When they kept the Maid of Gevudan. Okay, shut up.
Never has a village been so prominently,
like that should have been the drinking game, and you would have been wasted. I don't know what we're doing anymore. That's the big thing. Like, there was very little action.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's Teen Wolf. Jeff loves giving us action. I don't know what's going on.
No action, no humor, and 600 degrees of Gerard. So that's some bad thing on it. But I'm going to add one more thing. Plus, accent's so cringeworthy that you desperately want to go into a high school French class to hear it done better.
Dude, the dude that plays the Beast is straight up French for real.
I know.
I was like, say what? Come again for Big Fudge? I was like, it got so bad that she sounded Irish at one point.
Yes, she did. I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought that. Oh my goodness. In all honesty, you're in the middle of a French village. If you're going to have them speak English anyway, you might as well have them just speak straight up in their own voices because, oh my goodness, it was so distracting.
That way you could have voiceover actors.
Oh, it was so distracting. And it turned my, oh, hey, Crystal Reed's back to, oh man, please don't let her open her mouth again. Please just don't.
Pulled a fast one on us. He's like, oh, you guys want Crystal back? Okay. I gotcha.
We're going to make her so annoying that you never asked for me to have her come back again.
Honestly, goodness, I feel like it was super. I feel like I was basking in the shade of trees on that one. Oh, because they made a big deal. Oh, we've got a vocal coach for her. And I'm like, okay. Hope that person's getting their check pulled back.
I'm sorry. You failed. You have failed this show. Forget it. But, it was just so cringeworthy. I mean, I have a terrible French accent. Just horrible. And she put me to shame for, just how disastrously bad that was. It wasn't just her. But, I just could not revel in what should have been a positive moment because I was just cringing through the whole thing.
There is one thing that, like I said, like Lydia wanting to, like, I love that Lydia recognizes that it's going to be a team effort, but do we really need Parrish? Do we really? Well, I know the mural tells us, but I feel like it has to be another Teen Wolf twist.
Well, my problem is that this whole story comes through, blah, 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 and halfway through the story, she realizes that her friends are in danger. She gets her Banshee, death is coming soon thing going, and she stays with Gerard to listen. And then at the end, instead of going to figure out where her friends are, the ones that she thinks are dying, she decides to go chase after Parrish. I'm like, really? Really? Like, you really need him right this very second? Could we at least, try a text? Hey, you guys still alive? Just wondering.
I mean, if she wants to find the Hellhound, shouldn't she just do like a Banshee scream at that point?
Oh, yeah.
Or something?
And it's not like they don't have his scent.
Oh, God, we have everyone's scent. Speaking of, that was my least favorite moment. I've got his scent. I was like, oh, are you going to give him the finger too?
My problem with that was like, since when has, Scott have to be beat to a bloody pulp to get somebody sent? Seriously. He's in the same room as you. You don't get a scent at that point? Shouldn't he have had his scent the second he walked into the school?
Yes, those mercury vapors are a hell of a drug, man.
I don't even know what. I don't know what that was. That was just crazy.
The biggest problem, like Scott whoops out in front of all these people. So I just know there's not going to be addressed. It's going to be worse than Sunnydale. Everybody's just going to be like, I was on drugs. They were
PCP. Yeah, PCP gang all over again. And if that happens, then I will be truly disappointed in this episode because that is the best thing.
And the beast was a mutant grizzly bear. Mark my words.
Oh, that would be funny.
There was a gas leak at the school on the field, and everybody was hallucinating.
I was just saying, that's one nimble, grizzly bear to be able to leap over a bus.
That's my biggest concern. And if they prove me wrong, I'll take it back. But at this point, I know what's up, Teen Wolf. I know what you're going to do.
I'm hoping that this becomes because it's already stretching the imagination that the people of Beacon Hills don't know something's going on. I mean, Malia lifted a freaking tree in front of her neighbors. That's not saying something. Kira takes on a massive electrical charge in front of the entire hospital. They can't be thinking this is a normal town. So.
I mean, this from a place that had a family of Wendigos just chilling.
If we remember right from the beginning of this season, Liam was a naked werewolf running in the middle of town. So I just, the beast is there in the middle of a car crash, and, he's running down the road. If they do not say that the people of Beacon Hills know what's going on by now, then I do not care that they all die. If you're that dumb, you just deserve it.
You deserve to be lunch. I agree.
Yep.
So, are there any other things that we missed in the lowlights?
I hate that Brayden, Malia, and Styles all only got one scene. What was up with that? I'm telling you, too much Gerard, not enough real people. So...
Real people?
Yes.
People I care about.
He's a cartoon villain out there with his Mountain Ash, I just...
Chris has failed this fandom.
Yes. I think I pretty much summed up what sucked in this episode when I said the soul-crushing boredom that I felt. There's no humor. There's no coach humor. There's no style snark. There's zero Sheriff and Mama McCall, even though Sheriff is literally at the school. There is no importance for Malia. There isn't even a Theo conniving going on. And there's not a plot that makes sense. Those things all together make it, not the best episode ever.
I concur, ma'am. So, I guess that brings us to the grade, and then we'll get into episode awards. And then we'll do the feedback after that. I remember.
Good. Originally I gave this a C-, because I don't know, I guess I was generous because it was a snow day. So I'm thinking this is more of a D+ area. It's not as bad as Derek's teen love dying episode, but it's not as good as the horribly boring internment camp episode. So, yeah.
You know what? I'm actually going to agree with you, and I'll go a D as in dog minus. They turned something that was really hyped up and could have been really great into something that was just meh at best.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, I was so excited and so pumped for this episode, and the minute the French accent started, it's like we could have just got subtitles.
Yep. I mean, if you're gonna do an accent anyway, you might as well just go with the real thing. So, am I supposed to believe that in this French village they're speaking English? I mean, really? Come on. They're speaking the language of their enemy. Okay. Sounds good.
Mortal enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just disappointed. Like I said, I thought it was really pretty and the sound and the technical stuff was great, but the dialogue and the pacing, it's like this was the longest 42 minutes of my life.
Yes. Yeah.
I was happy for the commercial breaks.
Mm-hmm.
That's bad.
Hey, I didn't even have a problem with those freaking smoking commercials this time.
It was scarier than the episode.
Yeah,
more
that's
tension
true.
than the episode.
It's true, and I've already seen it 900 times.
Yeah. Let's just get to episode awards. We'll start with who or what you thought was the MVP of this episode.
I'm going to go with, it's a toss-up. I think I'm going to go with the costume department. I thought they all looked very awesome. Maybe not super authentic, but authentic enough. And, I thought that they did a really good job of setting the scene for this 18th century village.
I am going to shout out the director of photography and the cinematographer. Like I said, I thought that this was beautifully shot. Just a shame that it turned out the way that it did because it looked very lovely. Even like I said, the beast stuff looks better than it had, and I can see that a lot of tender love and care went into a lot of the props and things like that as well. And it's just a bummer.
Yeah, I think the props and the setting and the costuming all worked well together.
Definitely. Okay, so who was your favorite character this episode?
Well, since I only really liked one character, it was pretty easy. That would be Scott.
I think I'm actually going to give it to Brayden, and she only had one scene. So that's
you know what? I'm kind of tempted to go that way too, because I did forget that she was the best kick butt character in there. So, I don't know. Toss up. Scott, Brayden, you both rocked.
Let's see. Best character interactions.
I'm going to go with none.
Ooh. Shots fired and houses exploding and babies crying.
Well, the only characters that... I mean, what is it going to be? Scott and the Beast? Anybody with an accent automatically out. All right. The other choices are the Argents and Lydia. No, just no. Parrish, automatically out. You've got Mason, who interacted for a total of 10 seconds. And, no. You've got Scott and Liam, always a bad combo. Braid and Malia show up only in one scene for, I think it was literally 4 seconds when they're on screen together. There just isn't much character interaction in this that isn't the flashback or telling the flashback, because they're all separated for most of the episode.
Yep.
So
that's the problem with all these exposition/history lesson episodes.
Yes. We never get the main characters except for the main characters listening to somebody else tell a story. There are some characters in the history of the world of TV that I might be able to watch listening to somebody else talk, but there are not very many. There just aren't. So, at this point, having them read the phone book would have been more thrilling.
Actually, I'm going to give it to Marie-Jean and Marcel when they go out to the well. and he just kind of breaks down. Because I don't know, like I was like, actually Marcel was the most interesting character in the flashbacks because I didn't understand his motivations
at all.
Were they lovers? Like, what the heck? I don't know. Because I feel like that was like an allusion to maybe Corey and Mason. That's the only thing that I could really
is that what you're thinking? I don't know. What I got out of there, and it's actually, and what that is true. What I got out of there, and it's actually one of my episode awards, is one of my biggest questions when it came to Marcel. Is Marcel the hellhound at that point? Because he's storing the bodies in his cellar like a nemeton. And if that's the case, then Marcel automatically becomes more interesting to me. If it's not the case,
we'll never know.
Yeah, well, and I don't want to know. I really, really do not want to go back into this story, so I don't care enough about any of my questions to want them actually answered. But my problem with Marcel is that he does not have any motivation that makes any sense. Why would he hide bodies? Because his friend is killing people. His friend that doesn't seem to care about, whether he's going to kill him or not either. So I just don't get it. And exactly how long have they been there, and how has he been sneaking into the cellar without anybody knowing that he was there? That's an awful lot of bodies piled up for the, 2 days that they've spent together?
Teen Wolf timelines, whether it's past, present, or future, it's always going to be wonky.
I don't know. So Marcel was the one that I had the most questions about. But because he's so vague, he couldn't be in my favorite anything.
Okay, totally understand it. I feel like Mystery and Intrigue in Teen Wolf, especially when you know you're never going to see that person again.
Mm-hmm.
It's tantalizing for me. That way I can have stuff to write fanfic about.
All right, and that's the most important thing.
At this point, honestly.
If Jeff Davis isn't going to give us to us, we got to get it somehow.
Moving along to a favorite scene.
This is actually a toss-up. And it's going to depend an awful lot on next episode, which one ends up being my favorite scene. It is either Marie-Jeanne kills her brother. I thought that whole scene was choreographed well. I liked it. I liked how at the end she has no mercy. None. She's not, moved that this is her brother that she's killed. She's just like, no way, you're not getting any fame for this. We are totally taking you out. I just thought that was fantastic. And then I also really love the students finding out that Scott's a werewolf. That's the one that will be my favorite scene if it ends up next episode that they really do understand that he's a werewolf and things change around Beacon Hills High.
Everybody's just Danny. Oh, dude, it's Beacon Hills. We knew you were a werewolf before you knew you were a werewolf, Scott. Remember when Styles was giving you that doggy bowl? Who do you think gave him that doggy bowl?
And you know what? I would be perfectly fine with them all being like, yeah, knew that already. Let's go. Why do you think... What I really want to have happen, because most of the people who are in the library are his teammates. What I really want to have happen is them go like, yeah, we already know that, and we figured that your werewolf senses could help us win some games, because we just suck. That's really what I want to happen with the teammates. But as long as they are good with him knowing... as long as they know by the end, that will be my favorite.
For me, it is definitely Marie-Jeanne killing the beast. I totally love how he thought it wasn't anything, and she's like, "Oh, that's no ordinary steel." He's just like, "What is this black goo? No!"
Yeah, that was funny.
Just the look on his face, it was awesome for me. Let's see. Favorite line?
I think there's only really one line to say is the favorite. And that would be, Hayden, okay, what do you guys usually do when this happens? Styles, oh, I usually pass out. Still might do that. It's the only funny line in the whole thing.
I think my favorite line is Brayden. You didn't seriously think we were going to have a chance against that thing, did you?
That's on my list, too.
I love me some Brayden, just blunt.
Yeah. And I also liked Malia's Bring your shotgun. Bring all your shotguns.
Yes. That was my number 2 for sure. Let's see. That brings us down to the moment.
I'm going to go with the reaction of Liam and Scott to Mason coming over to his car.
For me, I actually like that Corey is a straight up coward and he has the power of an invisibility cloak because that's like the ultimate coward weapon, right? And he just takes Mason. I'm like, oh, thank God we don't have to deal with this right now. Not ready for it because I know it's going to be cheesy and terrible. No consequences.
Well, I first off, I want Screamer dead. He just got to die.
Aww.
I want him dead. He is so annoying. Man up! Get your kick butt warrior in gear or just sit out and shut up.
Honestly, I'd be okay if just him and Mason made out because that means those two aren't talking and annoying the hell out of me.
No. I don't know. I just want him dead. He's annoying to me. I want all the chimeras dead. Take Hayden too. We'll just
she ain't going nowhere. She already signed her contract.
Man pain going on. I know she isn't, but man, I wish they would all die. I don't need these freaking B-pack chimeras. And I really hate this invisibility thing. I swear, every time it just makes me think of Monsters Inc. and I can't take it seriously. I just can't.
I just want somebody to have like predator vision and just like take it or something. Because he makes that predator noise when he goes invisible. That's all I can ever think about. Okay, so let's get to some original episode awards.
All right. Best slide into home. Marie-Jeanne as she goes for the sword. I'm telling you, she could have scored in a baseball team. She was just awesome that way. All right, this is where I disagree with you. Most dramatic unveiling since Liam took off his helmet in 4.1. Marie puts down her hood in super slow-mo. Seriously? Oh, Teen Wolf. All right, this is a double award. It's called Most Likely to Inspire Me to Put an Ice Pick Through My Eyes / You Give ARP a Bad Name. And that's going to Gerard, a.k.a. Grandpa. Wow. Oh, he's just terrible. Terrible. And then I've got my Can't Get That from Walmart award. What the heck is it with genre shows and all these impossibly hard weapons? Seriously. Mountain Ash, Wolfsbane, Marie's Blood, Full Moon. What the heck is that?
Because it's magic, not just supernatural. It's magic.
At this point, I'm just like, I'm sorry. The very first thing I thought when I heard all this spiel of what they're going through besides, it's one of those typical genre nonsense things. I thought of Sam and Dean in Supernatural breaking out the SpongeBob placemat to do the spell on. I was like, I think I'm going to go Winchester style because this is just convoluted as all get out. Seriously, are they going to have to find the sword now or the spear thing now? Or
welcome to Gevudan.
Some Argent bleed on it. It's just
we're gonna have to grind Allison's bone into
sticky paste, as they say in Buffy.
Yes, a fine sticky paste.
Oh my goodness, it's just like, yeah, can't find that from Walmart and fashion it on a Tuesday. Those are my favorite awards.
Mine is the Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Yeah. It's when Gerard's like, his name is my name too. And I was just like, whenever we go out, we out. There's Gerard Mountain Ash Archer.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's funnier than anything in this episode.
That's the only one that I really have that I could just, it just stuck out to me. I was just like, oh God, shut up, Gerard.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, so let's get into some listener feedback.
Alrighty. I didn't look at as much because I didn't do it on the same day, but I want to shout out first off at FRANCEZKA10. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I apologize, but I had the best conversation with her that just totally went completely off the rails. It ended up being a Teen Wolf museum from the future. And it was hilarious. I had the best conversation. It was made my night. So that's the first one. At Just Janine says, if you cannot figure out how to make a run for it when a beast is clawing down the door, you're not going to last long in Beacon Hills. Seriously, what was up with that woman? Claymores Are Us at Clone Poster had a lot about the Buffy stuff too, and she said this year's graduation ceremony is going to have an in memoriam event. And since only 10 people are going to be there, you can bring all your loved ones to it.
No need to scalp tickets.
Nope. As a matter of fact, they're holding it in the home ec room. Oh, yeah. At Aereo F. The Hub says, I guess the flower Chris fed Gerard a while back turned him into a rambling old guy who doesn't know how to stop talking. So, yay. He also said maybe you should print up some Beast Story pamphlets to hand out. It would be easier. I really wish that had happened. Really, really wish. At Teen Wolf Talk said, if this lady knows all about demons and shapeshifters, why the hell is she still living in the middle of the forest? Good question. Very good question. Then at at Marino Media, we have, no one is surprised that she's an Argent, right? No one? If you're surprised right now, you need to stop. I would agree. And at PTHALOCYANINE, she said, she put in quotes, I expect everyone to drink. She's talking to us, right? Yes, she was.
That was the most needed GIF for Teen Wolf ever. Next to the sleeping ones.
Yes. Style sleeping. That's the gift that I was going to put in the recap. It was like, go. So, yeah. Those were my favorites of the night. I do want to shout out Mary Marino for getting Bingo in an episode that was almost impossible to get Bingo because it all took place in France. So, congratulations, Mary.
I want to shout out some new reviews that are places that I read reviews at. The first one is Whedonopolis. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the next one is Empty Lighthouse. And the next one I don't think I've ever really said, but I read them a lot. It's geekynews.com.
Okay.
So those had some they weren't like the critic friendly, hey, we have a relationship with the network kind of reviews.
We have to be positive.
Yes, exactly. For that, if you are looking for one of those, I would check out EW.com.
What was it?
EW.com. They are very
yes,
happy-go-lucky over there when it comes to Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my picks of the week. I enjoyed them. They were great. And don't forget to check out Dawn's over on Spoiler TV.
Yep. It was shorter than normal because a lot of it said blah, 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 something else.
Blah, blah, blah. Gerard won't shut the hell up.
Yeah. Blah, 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 Brother Rose. Blah, 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 Marie Jean. Blah, 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 weapons. He just keeps blathering.
I hope we don't have to find that spear. Why'd you put that out there?
I'm sorry.
Can't afford to go to France. I hope Deaton has it somewhere in his damn veterinary clinic.
Oh no, it's in that sewer. We haven't had it. We've been 2 days, 2 episodes without having that set. We gotta bring that back. Get our money worth of that because the library's now trashed again. So it can't be hiding there.
Oh, so let's see. I guess it's time for some shameless plugs.
All All right. You can find me at Dawn1 on Twitter. That's at DAHNE1. I do lots of different things. If you're a Scorpion person, I live tweet that one as well. I've been starting to get back to live tweeting Elementary if you're into there. And I've been live tweeting the Shannara Chronicles. So if you want to live tweet, then please let me know. Hit me up, and I will put you on my Twitter feed so that I can see what you're saying too. And we can have one of those great conversations. I love talking Teen Wolf to the fans in this show because they're just always so funny and snarky. And even if the episode isn't, the comments are. So come snark with us. We have lots of fun. You can also find me on my blog. That's at don1.blogspot.com. You can find me on Spoiler TV, like Lila said. I'm usually there every Monday doing my column Last Week in TV. But I also do the Best Scene Awards for The 100, How I Met Your Mother, and of course, not How I Met Your Mother.
How to Get Away with Murder.
How to Get Away with Murder. Yeah, I never actually watched How I Met Your Mother, except for in reruns. But yeah, How to Get Away with Murder, and also, of course, Teen Wolf. So, and then I've been doing some other kind of articles that I'm going to be putting out as well. So if you want to get a hold of me, that would be the greatest place to go.
Awesome. I want to remind you guys to first be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to us on your favorite podcatcher of choice. We are on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, and of course, Lisbon.com. Also go to SouthgateMediaGroup.com to find our list of 80 plus and always growing podcasts. I remember when I used to say 60 plus and always growing. We also have information about the host as well as blogs. We've got something for everybody, everything from anime to wrestling and anything in between. So be sure to check that out. And if you want to connect with me, you can find me on Twitter at Lil Hellfire. My URL for Tumblr is xlilhellfire.tumblr.com, or you can just check out lilhellfire.com.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for joining us for this newsworthy episode, but hopefully an entertaining podcast. We hope to hear from you. We love listener feedback, so if you want to hit us up, tell us what you like, what you didn't like, and especially if you love this episode, tell us why. Please. Other than that, we hope to have you join us next week. And wake up! Or you'll be eaten. Because, dude, it's Beacon Hills.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.